Dzień dobry Państwu. Witamy na webinarze poświęconym produktom typu ETN i ETC, których notowanie rozpoczęliśmy pod koniec sierpnia na Giełdzie Papierów Wartościowych w Warszawie. Jednym produktem, o którym w drugiej części opowie nam Andrzej Wojnija z Han ETF. Andrzej jest dyrektorem do spraw sprzedaży na dużą część Europy produktów Han ETF, pracuje w centrali w Londynie. Ja zajmuję się produktami strukturyzowanymi, ETF-ami i produktami, instrumentami pochodnymi na Giełdzie Papierów Wartościowych w dziale rozwoju rynku. Przekażemy Państwu trochę informacji na temat produktów ETN i ETC, czym są, jak działają i dlaczego zdobywają tak dużą popularność na innych rynkach. A następnie Andrzej opowie o tym specyficznym produkcie RMAU na złoto, który charakteryzuje się tak wieloma fantastycznymi cechami, że chyba warto się nim zainteresować. Więc rozpocznę moją część. Andrzej opowie o produkcie, mam nadzieję, że za mniej więcej 20 minut po skończeniu mojej części. Także rozpoczynam działanie. Dzień dobry Państwu jeszcze raz. Produkty typu ETN i ETC notowane na giełdzie weszły w ślad za ogromnym sukcesem instrumentów typu ETF, czyli Exchange Traded Funds, notowanych na właściwie wszystkich giełdach na świecie, gdzie aktywa pod zarządzaniem rosną gwałtownie po tym, jak inwestorzy przekonali się, jak ważne jest to, żeby mieć produkty, które są przejrzyste, widoczne, możliwe do handlowania przez cały dzień, przez całą sesję giełdową, gdzie koszty są niskie, a zasady działania są ściśle określone i bardzo, bardzo jasne dla wszystkich. Przez ostatnich 20 lat, kiedy ETF rozwijały się, czy właściwie już 25 lat, jak ETF rozwijały się na rynkach światowych, przyciągnęły ogromne kapitały pod zarządzaniem, ich aktywa osiągnęły już wartość 10 bilionów dolarów amerykańskich, przejmują aktywa, które są zgromadzone w tradycyjnych funduszach inwestycyjnych, a to właśnie ze względu na te cechy, o których mówiłem, na niskie koszty, przejrzystość działania i na łatwość analizy takich inwestycji, łatwość ich śledzenia, łatwość inwestowania. Obecnie na Giełdzie Papierów Wartościowych mamy notowanych 11 ETF-ów oraz jeden instrument typu ETC, czyli ETC RMAU na złoto, wyemitowany przez Han ETF. Te ETF-y, które są na giełdzie, to są wyemitowane przez dwóch emitentów w tej chwili ETF-y, czyli przez Beta Securities Polska oraz przez Amundi ETF, jednego z największych emitentów ETF-ów na świecie. Jak widzicie Państwo, są to głównie ETF-y oparte na indeksach polskiej giełdy. To są oparte na indeksie WIG20, MWIG40, SWIG80 i WIG-Tech. Wszystkie te indeksy, co warto podkreślić, to są indeksy Total Return, czyli wliczane są do nich dywidendy. Jeżeli Państwo analizujecie wykresy indeksów giełdowych i patrzycie Państwo na WIG20, to proszę przełączyć na portalach, gdzie są widoczne wykresy indeksów, również włączcie Państwo indeksy WIG20 Total Return, MWIG40 Total Return, SWIG80 i WIG-Tech, żeby zobaczyć, jakie są różnice między indeksami, które zbierają dywidendę i ją reinwestują, czyli te Total Return właśnie, z uwzględnieniem dywidendy i jej reinwestowania, w porównaniu do indeksów cenowych, takich jak WIG20 i te wszystkie inne indeksy bez literek Total Return, co ma bardzo duże znaczenie. Kolejną bardzo ciekawą cechą, którą widać na polskiej giełdzie, to, że najbardziej popularne pod względem obrotów, nie aktywów pod zarządzaniem, są ETF-y oparte na indeksy WIG20 Short oraz WIG20 Leverage. WIG20 Short to jest indeks, który zachowuje się odwrotnie do indeksu WIG20. Kiedy WIG20 rośnie, to WIG20 Short spada. WIG20 Leverage ma podwójne zmiany indeksu WIG20, czyli przy wzroście o 5% indeksu WIG20, indeks WIG20 leverage rośnie o 10%. I tutaj właśnie polscy inwestorzy znaleźli sposób na inwestowanie z trendem, na inwestowanie w czasie dużych zmian, gdzie albo wykorzystują spadki na indeksie, na ETF-ie na WIG20 short, albo wykorzystują wzrosty podwójnie na indeksie WIG20 leverage. Oczywiście trzeba pamiętać o ryzyku zawsze przy produktach z dźwignią. Warto pamiętać, że to może się również odwrócić przeciwko inwestorowi. Indeksy zagraniczne to jest indeks Nasdaq, DAX, Standard & Poor's. W dwóch odmianach Standard & Poor's zabezpieczony do złotego i Standard & Poor's niezabezpieczony do złotego oraz Nasdaq zabezpieczony do złotego i DAX niezabezpieczony do złotego. Zapraszam na stronę giełdy, tam można się przekonać, jak one działają, jak wyglądają, gdzie jest więcej informacji i dokumentów przygotowanych przez emitentów tych produktów. ETF na TBSP to jest indeks Treasury Bonds pod Poland, to jest indeks obligacji skarbowych polskich wyemitowanych przez Skarb Państwa. Warto popatrzeć, jakie jest oprocentowanie, jakie mają stopy zwrotu, jakie ma stopy zwrotu ten indeks TBSP. On w długiej perspektywie zachowuje się lepiej niż inflacja w Polsce. Oczywiście ostatnio przy dużych wzrostach inflacji i teraz przy spadkach jest to lekkie zawahanie, natomiast warto spojrzeć. No i ten nasz produkt, na którym się dzisiaj skupimy, to jest RMAU Gold, wyemitowany przez Han ETF. To jest produkt nie typu ETF, tylko to jest produkt typu ETC. Za chwilę powiem, jaka jest różnica między ETF-ami i instrumentami typu ETC. Charakterystyka jest bardzo podobna, są pewne różnice. ETF-y, o czym wspomniałem, zdobywają ogromne zainteresowanie inwestorów przez ostatnie 25, 30 nawet lat od ich debiutu. Gwarantują bezpieczeństwo inwestorów. Inwestorzy wiedzą wszystko dokładnie o tym produkcie. Jest prospekt emisyjny. Są również takie dokumenty jak Key Information Document, gdzie są zawarte skrócone informacje, wszystkie informacje o produkcie, jak on działa, na jakiej zasadzie, na jakim instrumencie bazowym się opiera, a instrumentami bazowymi dla ETF-ów są indeksy akcji lub indeksy obligacji. To jest właśnie ta różnica, jedna z podstawowych różnic między instrumentami typu ETF i ETC i ETN, że ETF-y opierają się na indeksach akcji lub indeksach obligacji, czyli tych notowanych na giełdzie produktów akcyjnych lub dłużnych. ETF-y są znane i uznane już od dosyć dawna. Bardzo ważną ich cechą jest to, że naśladują 1:1 indeksy. To jest inwestowanie pasywne, zgodne z indeksem. Mają bardzo niskie koszty. Koszty dla największych ETF-ów na świecie opartych na największe indeksy spadają prawie do zera. To jest rzędu 0,03%, 0,05%, 0,15%. To już są takie koszty dla tych największych ETF-ów na świecie, dosyć popularne. Dla mniejszych indeksów one mogą sięgać od 0,5% do 1% w skali roku zarządzanych aktywów. Są dużo niższe niż w tradycyjnych funduszach inwestycyjnych, tych otwartych funduszach inwestycyjnych, które na pewno Państwo dobrze znacie. ETF-y mogą opierać się tylko na indeksach akcji lub obligacji. W związku z tym jakiś czas temu powstało pytanie i firmy próbowały to rozwiązać, co zrobić, żeby stworzyć podobne produkty do ETF-ów, ale oparte na innych aktywach bazowych niż indeksy akcji i obligacji. Na przykład właśnie złoto, czy inne metale szlachetne, czy waluty, czy ostatnio kryptowaluty. Za chwilę powiem również o tym, że takie możliwości istnieją, niestety jeszcze nie na polskim rynku, więc ETN i ETC powstały z tego powodu, że było zapotrzebowanie na podobne produkty do ETF-ów, ale oparte na innych instrumentach bazowych. W związku z tym powstały instrumenty typu ETN i ETC. Niestety, ze względu na przepisy europejskie i światowe ETF-ów, nie ma takich typu dokładnie ETF, czyli funds, ta litera F na końcu ETF ma ogromne znaczenie, czyli w formie funduszu inwestycyjnego nie mogły powstać ETF-y oparte na złocie czy na indeksach instrumentów bazowych, takie jak właśnie surowce, metale szlachetne, ropa naftowa, czy węgiel, czy popularne również ostatnio takie surowce jak uran, niezbędne do wytwarzania energii w elektrowniach jądrowych. Powstały instrumenty, które z zewnątrz wyglądają tak samo, natomiast w środku mają troszkę coś innego. Nie są funduszem inwestycyjnym, tylko są instrumentem dłużnym, wyemitowanym przez wyspecjalizowane firmy w emisji instrumentów typu ETN i ETC. Cechy mają bardzo podobne do ETF-ów, czyli pasywny charakter instrumentu, co Państwo widzicie tutaj na wykresie, ściśle odzwierciedlenie zmian ceny instrumentu bazowego. Przeważnie są wtedy, kiedy jest to możliwe i kiedy jest fizyczne zabezpieczenie, możliwe zabezpieczenie instrumentem bazowym, to odzwierciedlają ceny spot instrumentu bazowego. Jeżeli jest to niemożliwe, to odzwierciedlają ceny kontraktów futures, natomiast nasz instrument opiera się na cenach spot, czyli na tych cenach natychmiastowej dostawie instrumentu bazowego. Bardzo istotne jest to, że w instrumentach typu ETN i ETC oddzielone są aktywa inwestorów od aktywów czy od majątku emitenta. Są oddzielone, ściśle kontrolowane, są badane przez rewidentów. Nie można z tych aktywów inwestorów pobierać innych kosztów niż koszty zarządzania, które są ściśle określone w ciągu roku. Jest obowiązek animatora rynku. Jak są notowane na giełdzie, to w każdej chwili można je kupić i sprzedać. Jeżeli nawet widzą Państwo, że obroty są stosunkowo niewielkie na jakimś instrumencie typu ETN i ETC, zresztą podobnie jak na instrumentach strukturyzowanych, to są inne typy instrumentów zupełnie, natomiast ta cecha jest podobna, to proszę pamiętać, że w każdej chwili jest animator po stronie kupna i sprzedaży, zlecenia animatora określonej wartości dosyć dużej, gdzie zawsze można kupić, zawsze można sprzedać. Animator ma obowiązek wystawiania zleceń kupna i sprzedaży z określonym spreadem i o określonej wartości w stosunku do wyceny, do wartości fair market value, czy tej wyceny rynkowej instrumentów. Obrót odbywa się dokładnie na tych samych zasadach jak dla akcji czy dla innych ETF-ów. Różnice między ETF-ami ETC i ETN, o których już trochę mówiłem przed chwilą, natomiast powiem tutaj jeszcze w formie tabeli, żeby to wszystko ułożyć sobie jeszcze raz i zobaczyć, jakie są różnice. Podstawową różnicą jest to, że ETF jest funduszem inwestycyjnym, a ETC i ETN są instrumentami dłużnymi w formie instrumentu dłużnego. Inaczej nie można było tego zrobić ze względu na regulacje dotyczące funduszy UCITS, czyli funduszy opartych na indeksach akcji czy obligacji. No właśnie tak, to są instrumenty objęte UCITS-em. Popularne aktywa bazowe to są akcje, indeksy akcji czy indeksy obligacji. Natomiast dla ETC to są Exchange Traded Commodities, tak? Czyli surowce, takie właśnie jak metale szlachetne, inne surowce, inne metale szlachetne, indeksy surowców. Natomiast dla instrumentów typu ETN to są waluty, kryptowaluty i na przykład prawa do emisji CO2. Co szczególnie ciekawe, na większości giełd zachodniej Europy notowane są już ETN na kryptowaluty i cieszą się ogromną popularnością. Na razie nie ma zgody Komisji Nadzoru Finansowego w Polsce na wprowadzenie takich instrumentów. Będziemy nad tym pracować. Jak tylko będzie taka szansa, to będziemy szeroko informować oczywiście. Możliwość inwestowania na rynku towarowym w przypadku ETF-ów jest to niemożliwe, w przypadku ETC i ETN jak najbardziej tak. Te wszystkie instrumenty typu czyli ETF, i ETC i ETN mogą być kupowane przez fundusze inwestycyjne, czyli przez UCITS, więc to jest możliwe, są instrumentami dopuszczonymi do zbierania i do odzwierciedlania ich choćby w swoich aktywach i oferowania tego innym inwestorom. Instrumenty typu ETN i ETC, jak widzicie Państwo, są notowane na największych giełdach europejskich. Jest ich już kilkaset i to i to duże kilkaset różnych instrumentów typu ETN i ETC. Najbardziej popularne to te instrumenty oparte na złocie, na koszykach metali szlachetnych, na srebrze, platynie, również ostatnio od kilku lat na kryptowalutach. To ciekawe jest to, że kryptowaluty wróciły jako sam pomysł kryptowalut, to jest to, żeby były jak najmniej scentralizowane, jak najmniej papierów, jak najmniej formalności związanych z obrotem. Natomiast po ich, powiedzmy, sukcesie czy dużym obrocie, dużym zainteresowaniu inwestorów weszły na rynki regulowane i instrumenty oparte na kryptowalutach muszą mieć prospekt emisyjny, muszą być dopuszczone do obrotu przez nadzory finansowe w poszczególnych krajach i mogą być notowane na scentralizowanych rynkach, takich jak giełdy papierów wartościowych właśnie, więc jakby historia zatoczyła pełne koło i instrumenty zupełnie pozarynkowe i zupełnie rozproszone wróciły na scentralizowane rynki. Ksetra wprowadziła również kontrakty terminowe na instrumenty typu ETN oparte na Bitcoinie, zresztą wyemitowane przez HAN-ETF, przez ETN na Bitcoina wyemitowane przez HAN-ETF. Również w ostatnich dniach, nie wiem czy nawet nie dzisiaj jest debiut opcji, nie, być może w poniedziałek był, przepraszam, 23 października, debiut opcji opartych na indeksie kryptowalut, również na giełdzie Ksetra. Także widzicie Państwo, że ten rynek się bardzo zmienia i instrumenty ETC i ETN, ich aktywa bazowe są początkiem zmian i centralizacji obrotu, zdecentralizowanych aktywów. Ale wróćmy do naszego instrumentu, czyli do ETC na złoto, to co zostało wprowadzone pod koniec sierpnia na giełdę papierów wartościowych w Warszawie. Jest to papier wartościowy. Już skupię się na tym, na przykładzie tego instrumentu ETC na złoto. To jest to papier wartościowy, jest wymieniony w regulacjach unijnych, jest regulowany, ma prospekt emisyjny pod prawem irlandzkim, ma wszystkie dokumenty, które są wymagane przez przepisy europejskie. Ma Key Information Document, proszę zajrzeć na naszą stronę GPW, tam gdzie jest zakładka notowania ETF, ETN, ETC. Można znaleźć te wszystkie dokumenty i linki do strony emitenta. Można jeszcze dokładniej poznać ten produkt. Andrzej będzie mówił o tym produkcie, jak on działa, jak wygląda, jakie są zasady handlu i zasady ochrony inwestorów. Proszę, zmienię slajd. To, co emitent musi zrobić w stosunku do giełdy, żeby te instrumenty były notowane, to po pierwsze złożyć wniosek, wszystkie wymagane dokumenty, wskazać, jak są chronieni inwestorzy. To wymagamy z dużą siłą, żeby właśnie przy instrumentach dłużnych typu ETN i ETC pokazać, w jaki sposób są wydzielone aktywa inwestorów z aktywów emitenta. To jest w celu zapewnienia bezpieczeństwa. Jak wspominałem, emitent nie może w żadnym stopniu poza kosztami, które są określone w prospekcie emisyjnym, pobierać żadnych innych środków z aktywów inwestorów. W przypadku ETC na złoto, tym aktywem inwestorów jest złoto w sztabkach lub w monetach zgromadzone w skarbcu. O tym, jak to wygląda i jak bardzo jest to chronione, opowie Andrzej za chwilę. Jest to jeszcze te sztabki i monety, te sztabki złota i złote monety są jeszcze dodatkowo kontrolowane przez niezależnego audytora. Możliwość, która w przypadku ETC na złoto istnieje, w przypadku tego ETC na złoto, które jest notowane na giełdzie papierów wartościowych w Warszawie, to jest również to, że można zamienić swoje instrumenty, które kupimy, swoje papiery wartościowe, czyli ETC na złoto. Możemy zażądać wykupu przez emitenta i zamiany ich na fizyczne złoto. Zasady są określone ściśle w prospekcie emisyjnym. To raczej jest dla większych inwestorów, ale to jest również zabezpieczenie, że można odebrać je bezpośrednio ze skarbca w Szkocji, fizyczne złoto. Teoretyczna możliwość, natomiast przez większych inwestorów może być wykorzystywana w praktyce. Instrumenty typu ETC i ETN notowane są dokładnie tak jak ETF-y, czyli od godziny 9:05 aż do godziny 17:05, tak jak akcje z lekkim przesunięciem otwarcia o 5 minut oraz z przedłużeniem dogrywki do godziny 17:02, więc troszkę dłuższy handel. Zasady tworzenia ETF-ów, one są tworzone za każdą wpłatę inwestorów przy kupnie. Powstaje nowy instrument typu ETC, jest kupowane złoto, które jest dostarczane do skarbca, jest przechowywane w skarbcu w Szkocji, jest zabezpieczone odpowiednio. W przypadku sprzedaży przez inwestorów jest dokonywane umorzenie jednostek, więc tak jak w przypadku ETF-ów jest zmienna liczba jednostek i zmienna wartość aktywów pod zarządzaniem, wynikająca również z umorzeń i tworzenia i z kreacji tych instrumentów. Handel odbywa się dokładnie na tych samych zasadach jak akcjami. Nie będę Państwu tłumaczył, jak się składa zlecenie i jak ono jest przekazywane na giełdzie. Tutaj jest bardzo ważna rola animatora rynku. Ten instrument ETC na złoto jest notowany również na kilku innych giełdach europejskich, więc zadaniem animatora jest to, żeby cena u nas odpowiadała cenie na innych rynkach i wynikała również z tego, jaka jest wycena jednostki tego instrumentu, czyli przeliczenie złota zgromadzonego w skarbcu na liczbę jednostek. To jest podsumowanie mojej części. Są to instrumenty pasywne typu instrumenty dłużne. To jest to, o czym wspominałem przed chwilą. Informacje o tym, jakie są nazywane i gdzie jest notowane na innych giełdach, kto jest audytorem, to jest duża firma Ernst & Young, więc można przyjąć, że jest to dobrze zabezpieczone. Złoto znajduje się w skarbcu, jest audytowane. Można nawet zajrzeć na stronę emitenta i zobaczyć, jak ponumerowane są sztabki złota, które są własnością posiadaczy instrumentów ETC na złoto. Jest to przejrzyste, jasne notowanie, widoczne. Jeżeli ktoś jest zainteresowany złotem, oczywiście wiąże się to inwestowanie z ryzykiem. Również złoto jest zmienne, jego cena zależy od zmian ceny złota na rynkach światowych, ale także od zmiany kursu dolar-złoty, ponieważ nie jest to instrument zabezpieczony przed ryzykiem walutowym, więc nawet jeżeli cena złota w dolarze się nie zmienia, a kurs dolar-złoty rośnie lub spada, to cena samego instrumentu rośnie lub spada również. Proszę pamiętać o tym, proszę się zapoznać z czynnikami ryzyka. Jeżeli ktoś jest zainteresowany inwestowaniem w złoto, to warto rozważyć, czy kupować je fizycznie, czy też przy wykorzystaniu takich instrumentów właśnie jak ETC, RMAU na złoto. Dziękuję Państwu bardzo. Przekażę teraz głos Andrze, który opowie dokładnie o tym, jak działa RMAU na złoto, jak został stworzony, jakie są zabezpieczenia. Dziękuję bardzo. Andre, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Bogdan. And good morning to everyone in Poland. Thank you for joining us. Let me just take control here of the presentation. Okay. So, can you see the slides, Bogdan, when I move them?
Yes, great.
Okay, sure. Very good. So, thank you for the introduction. As you probably explained, we at Han ETF started to partner with Warsaw Stock Exchange in end of August this year. We brought the first ETC over to the Polish Stock Exchange. Our goal was to make ETCs, and in this case specifically a gold ETC, investable for local investors, because we think there are benefits for you to trade on the local exchange. And we think there is a benefit to using this ETC structure in order to invest in gold. From our experience, Polish investors have reacted very positively to gold, and they like gold as an investment. So we think this is one of the easiest and most efficient ways that you can invest in gold instead of doing it physical or through other forms, like, for example, derivatives. We think this is the best of the physical world with the liquidity of a product on exchange, where you can go in and out very cost efficiently and very fast. And I will explain this, all these details while I go through a presentation. Before I go into the actual presentation, I will just talk briefly about gold, why we think gold is actually a good investment right now. So why should you care about gold as an investment? I got 3 slides for that. The first one is simply showing why people in general invest in gold, because one of the main benefits is it is a crisis hedge. And at the moment, as you know, we are living, unfortunately, in a very turbulent market environment and geopolitical environment. We had for the last year the conflict Ukraine-Russia, and now unfortunately we have in the Middle East again a conflict between Palestine and Israel. And in addition to that, we had already before, in the last 1.5 years, more traditional changes in financial markets, where the Federal Reserve in the US has started to hike rates, and then that led to equity markets going down, because normally when interest rates go up, equity markets are having a bit of a tougher time. So what you see here is in gold, the gold bars are the performance of gold during times of distress, like, for example, the great financial recession in 2008, or the Euro crisis in the years afterwards, or even in Brexit. Gold does during these crisis times very well. And equity returns here, we use the FTSE 100 from the UK, but you could probably use almost any equity index in Europe or worldwide. You have normally a decorrelation or a negative correlation, whereas when equity returns go down, when the stock market is going down, gold on average tends to go up. It is a crisis hedge. It is what we call a safe haven. So people use it because it's safe. Gold has been around for thousands of years. It is a very trusted investment, and that's what makes it so interesting. And we have seen just in the last 2 weeks, gold has done very well. It's done 7-8% plus, from around 1800, 30 now to almost 2000 again. So people are clearly reacting to the bad environment. The other point I wanted to show you is that gold is interesting in the long term, and many people tell us they invest in gold because they are afraid of the inflation of monetary supply. Since the financial crisis in 2008, central banks have started to do quantitative easing programs, where they have bought financial assets in order to support the economy and support the financial markets and bring liquidity into the markets. But one consequence of that is that these balance sheets are going bigger and bigger and bigger. So there's more and more money out in circulation in Europe, in euro, the euro system here in light blue, the Federal Reserve in the US in dark blue. And some people don't like that, because they say, well, you're just inflating basically the problem away. You're just printing more and more money. But if you have more money, that means every single, let's say, euro or dollar which is out there is worth a bit less, because the economy has not changed fundamentally. If someone just prints more money, then there's more of it around. So each single unit of that money needs to be worth a little bit less in theory, because it's simply, you simply print more. So people say gold you cannot print. Nobody can print gold and make it more. The only way you can do it is you have to dig it out of the earth. It's a slow process. It's a slow increase. There's a limited amount out there in the earth crust. So because gold is not inflationary like fiat money, they think that the value of gold has to go up in dollar or in euro. Because if you have more and more euro, more and more dollar, the only way that gold can balance this increase in money is by increase in value, because you cannot increase the amount of gold, so the value of gold has to go up. So this is a very popular theory why people believe that gold in the long term is a good asset to invest in. And in the past, we have seen gold often rising during periods of monetary inflation, of strong monetary inflation. So, and the last slide on the gold outlook before I go to the product itself is, why do we think it's an interesting time to look at gold now? Well, we've done a little study and we looked at the performance of gold during the last 2 rate hiking cycles. So we looked at 2008, when the time before 2008, before the great financial crisis, and what the performance of gold was. While the Federal, here in light blue, you can see the interest rate increase from the Federal Reserve in the US, the central bank. So while rates were going up, we looked at this first period from low to high. What did gold do? Well, gold did during that first period 57%, very good, positive return. The question is, what did it do from here when the rates were high until they went low again? Because that's where we are today again. We are probably somewhere around the peak in interest rate at the moment. And most analysts and investors expect that the price will go, the interest rates will go down again in the next 1-2 years. So when we look at the past, gold in the second period from here, from top to low, has done 41%. So again, gold had a positive return during that time. And we looked at the second cycle in 2015 to 20, and we see the same pattern. Gold had positive return in the first cycle, 24%, and another 15% in the second cycle. So also when rates go down again, gold did well again. So it's not just in the way up. So that's why we think at the moment where we are from the top, if we go back down in interest rates over the next few years, 1-2 years, we think there's a good chance that gold could again be a good investment for investors. Okay, so that's the short outlook about gold, why we think it makes sense. Now let me tell you a bit about ourselves and why why we did a gold ETC and why we hope that we can give you a good instrument to invest in. So our company, Han ETF, many of you will probably not heard of us, have not heard of us before. We are in the market since 2018, so 5 years now. We operated mostly in Central Europe so far and Western Europe. Poland is the first time that we expanded to Poland now with a dedicated product on the Polish Stock Exchange. We think Poland is a great market. There's a lot of investors and more sophisticated investors. That's why we decided to come. But our history in gold goes much further back. These 2 gentlemen are the founders of Han ETF. They have been in the market for 30 years, and they have been doing ETFs for 20 years. And they actually invented the gold ETC in 2003. Back then it was in Australia. So they created the first gold ETC together with another partner in Australia, and then they brought this gold ETC structure to Europe. And the idea was the following, to say, people want to invest in gold. So how can you invest in gold? There's 2 ways. You can use a derivative. Many people don't want to use, especially private investors, do not want to use derivatives. They want the actual gold, physical gold. They want to be able to touch it, to get it if they want to. So the only option was to go physical, to buy a physical gold bar or coins. But buying coins or gold bars is very expensive, actually. You pay a high premium and it's quite illiquid. You have to go to a dedicated a retailer who sells these physical gold bars. You normally pay a premium of 3, 4, up to 7, 8% sometimes, depending on what type of gold you buy, just to produce this gold bar or coin. And then you have the problem, you have to put it somewhere safe at home. So you need to be careful with it. You don't want to lose it. You don't want to be stolen from you. So the keeping it safe is another problem when you buy physical gold directly. So what we said is, we can offer you physical gold in an ETC format. So what we do is we buy physical gold in your name. When you invest in our ETC, we buy, let's say you invest 1,000 zloty. Then we buy 1,000 zloty worth of physical gold and we put it in a vault, so in a secure location, in this case in the UK, in England, in Wales, and we keep it there for you in a very safe, professional custody. If you want to get your gold, you can get your gold. You can tell to us, Han ETF, I would like the physical gold to be delivered. You have 2 options when you sell. Let's say after 1 year, you say, I would like to sell. There's 10% profit or maybe, whatever, lost profit, doesn't matter. You say, I want to sell. You have 2 options. You can either sell it on exchange. You can go on Warsaw Stock Exchange now and you can sell your ETCs there for the value that the ETC has. Or you can say, no, I don't want the money, I want the actual gold, because that's why I invested with you. I want physical gold. You can get a form online on our webpage. You fill in your details and you say, I would like physical gold, and then we can deliver to you. We have a variety of different formats that you can choose from. Gold bars, gold coins, 1 ounce gold coins, or 1 ounce small gold bars. You need a little bit of investment for that. Of course, you need a minimum of, 1 ounce of gold at the moment is roughly $1,970 US. So that's the minimum amount you would need to redeem this. But it is definitely a size that is manageable, that you would also do, if you go to a direct gold trader. So we offer you this option. So that gives you the safety and the guarantee that the gold is really there, that you can really get the gold if you want to. Okay, so these are the founders, and what's interesting about this particular gold ETC, we have partnered with a company which is called the Royal Mint. On the left side here, you can see the famous Britannia coin. This Britannia coin is made by the Royal Mint for hundreds, thousands of years. The company has a more than 1,000-year history. They are the oldest company in UK. They have existed for a long time. Isaac Newton was the boss of the mint for some time when he lived. He did some interesting physical experiments there as well to make sure that the gold coins are very safe. And the Royal Mint came to us and said, we already sell a lot of coins and bars, but we would like to make a financial product, an ETC, where we combine what I said before, the physical character of our gold coins and bars with the liquidity of a financial market product, which can be traded every day, intraday, at very efficient prices on Warsaw Stock Exchange or on other exchanges in Europe. And that's what we did with them. So we partnered with them. And the benefit of that is the following. Why do we not do it ourselves? Well, the benefit of doing it with the Royal Mint is here in red at the bottom. This is one of the 4 important criteria that we say you should pay attention to when you invest in a gold ETC, is the custody. Custody means, where do you store the gold? Where's the safe where we keep the gold? In this case, the safe is with the Royal Mint in Wales, so in the United Kingdom. And the Royal Mint is backed, so they have the backing from the UK government. The Treasury, the Finance Ministry of UK, is standing behind the Royal Mint. So normally, having a government behind a company is the safest you can have in terms of risk that something happens, because many other gold ETCs in the past, when you invest with them, they put the gold with a traditional financial company like a bank. So they put it in the vault, in the safe of a bank, for example, JP Morgan or HSBC. Now, JP Morgan and HSBC are safe, don't get me wrong, they're big banks. But if you invest in gold as a safe haven, as I said before, because you want to be, sure that when the economy goes bad, or maybe there's a financial crisis, you want to invest in gold to protect yourself. Does it make sense that you put your gold in the vault, in the safe of a bank? If a financial crisis happens, the banks are in the middle of the trouble. So like we saw in 2008, Lehman Brothers went bankrupt at that time. So even a big organization like Lehman, in the end, unfortunately, had to go bankrupt. So we thought it's better for investors if we keep the gold with a company that is not part of the financial system, but which is part of, in this case, a 1,000-year-old company, which has the financial backing of the UK government. So that's why we did this project with this ETC with Royal Mint. The other 3 important characteristics which you should be aware of and pay attention when you invest in the ETC is, as I said before, you have to make sure it's really physically backed. You don't want a synthetic and derivatives-based product. You want a physical backed product where the gold bars are really behind the product. This is the case with this one. To show you, as I said before, to guarantee to you that the gold is really there, we offer this physical redemption here. This physical redemption, which means you can come to us and request to get the gold physically delivered to you. You should always look out for transparency when you invest in these gold ETCs. I will show you what we do to give you transparency. We publish basically on our webpage, you can find a link to a Excel file where you can download the full holdings of all the gold bars in our safe. So if you look at the list, you will find hundreds of different gold bars. Each single gold bar that we have in our gold vault in the safe is listed there. The weights, 12 kilo, 0.5, let's say, how the finesse of the gold, there's a bar number, who produced this gold bar, so you can exactly identify each single gold bar there to give you the full transparency of what we have in the ETC. And then liquidity is very important because, as I said, we combine two things in an ETC: physical delivery and physical backing for you, but also the liquidity. If you say it's fine, I believe you that you have the gold there, I don't want the gold actually delivered to me because, as I said before, I don't want to take care of the gold. I'm not feeling safe having gold in my house. I just want the cash back. I invested with you a year or two ago. I made a profit. I would like to sell now to realize this profit. Then you need good liquidity so you can get very easy in and out of the product without losing many fees. And that's exactly what such a product offers. Normally, you can trade these products with what we call a bid-ask spread. So the fees that you pay to go in and out, somewhere around 0.1, 0.2%. So really efficient, a really good way to go in and out at very low cost, much lower than what I mentioned before with physical products, where you pay 3, 4, 5% or even more to buy such a gold bar. So here you don't lose that. And then one other aspect I just want to show you, in case if you care about ESG, we recently implemented, not recently, actually a year and a half ago now, last year, we implemented a mechanism where we use recycled gold in our ETC. So roughly 45% of the gold in our ETC is from recycled material, recycled gold. We certify that. We have a mechanism in place to evidence the cycle. And the benefit of this recycled gold, this is often something that professional investors like, and they, when you speak to them, the EU regulation about ESG is affecting them. So they sometimes say, I want to invest in gold. I believe in gold. I like the safe haven characteristic, but my professional standards require me that I take care of sustainability when investing in gold. So if you invest in recycled gold, you have two main benefits. One of them is you reduce the CO2 footprint of gold by, around 94%, up to 99%, depending on where you get your gold from. So a very high reduction in CO2 footprint. And also you have, much less impact on the environment and because you don't have to do a new mine where you get new gold from. And if any of you have seen a gold mine for example, in the rainforest somewhere, it's a huge area of land where you have to dig out, you have to take away all the plants, you have to dig into the mine, animals, local people get displaced sometimes. And it's a very long process over decades. So you avoid that by using recycled gold. That's the second characteristic why some people do prefer to have this recycled gold. It's not for everyone, as I said. If you don't care about that, no problem. Then the key characteristics are that it's physically backed. You can get the gold physically delivered, and you can trade it efficiently on Warsaw Stock Exchange in your local currency. That is maybe the other aspect that I should mention here. When it comes to liquidity, the reason why we moved to Warsaw Stock Exchange was because of two aspects. On the one hand, because you could trade gold ETCs before also abroad. As some of you will know, you can trade gold ETCs from us or also other providers via some of the brokers in Poland on foreign exchanges. But there are two downsides to trading on foreign exchanges. One is the FX rate. So if you don't trade in Polish zloty but you trade in euro, let's say, you will have a conversion from Polish zloty to euro, and then from euro to dollar, because these gold ETCs trade in dollar. So this conversion, this double conversion, will cost you, depending on your broker, anywhere from 0.2% up to 0.5%, or maybe even more, to trade that. So that is a big cost difference versus trading directly in Polish zloty. We listed on Warsaw Stock Exchange, so you can buy with Polish zloty. So you have only one conversion, Polish zloty to dollar. But there's no conversion via the euro, and that saves you money. And the second one is when you trade locally on Warsaw Stock Exchange, you have no fees for the local as they call it, custody and settlement. And it's a bit of a technical aspect, but you save a certain amount of fees there. Whereas if you trade on foreign exchanges, there's normally some additional fee for that. Again, it depends on broker by broker, and there can sometimes also be additional commission fees for trading on foreign exchanges. Again, depends broker by broker. Some brokers have it, some not. But I think the key message is that trading on foreign exchanges and foreign products always has several layers, extra layers of administration and several steps you need to take to access those products, and that normally incurs extra cost. So on average, we believe that trading a product on a local exchange in Polish zloty should in the long term be the most efficient way to access these products. So here, what I mentioned before about transparency, this is how the Excel file looks, where you can see all the gold bars here, gold bar number 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. You can scroll through the whole sheet, and then you can see what is the bar number, in which year was the bar produced, who is the refiner who made the bar, Ashanti in this case, what is the weight of this bar, how fine is the gold in it. So you can see a lot of aspects, and you can look through that to give you comfort that the ETC is really backed physically 100%. And it's not just our word that you have to believe in. We also use an external party to verify this. Twice a year, we send a vault inspector to the safe to look into it and say, okay, he's looking at the bars, he's looking at the weights, he's counting the bars, and then we confirm that 100% of the bars are there as specified. The dates, the name, who inspected it. So we publish this as well on our webpage, so you can always look every half year when the new audit comes out. You can check it and say that okay, everything is there as we promised. And then final point I want to mention, the liquidity. I already talked about this. You can trade in different ways. If any professional investors are watching this webinar, apart from trading on exchange, you can of course trade directly with the market maker. There are different ways, OTC or NAV trade, but today, especially private investors, they all trade normally via brokers on exchange. This is the most efficient way for them to access this product, and you get very good spreads these days on exchange. And also our capital markets team is working consistently with the colleagues, with Bogdan and his team, and the other guys at Warsaw Stock Exchange, and our market makers, in this case Santander, but also other as we call them, liquidity providers, to give you constantly as good a liquidity as possible. The spreads I mentioned, we try to keep them as tight as possible. If they go too wide, we contact these market makers, we speak to them, we say, hey, your spread is too wide, please can you try to make it more narrow, to guarantee or to try to ensure that you have as good as liquidity as possible. So we are watching this constantly. And this is it really. These are the product details. If you're interested, that's the ISIN, which you can use to find to find the product, and some of the basic aspects that I mentioned before. There's not much more I need to add here, I think. So with that, thank you very much for the attention. Bogdan, thank you for giving me the floor, and I think we're happy to take questions. Okay, so this looks like a question for us at Han ETF. What are the prospects for the growth of gold price in the coming years? And does Han ETF have a analysis regarding this market? So we personally maybe two aspects here. In principle, we don't do direct forecasts. We are, as I said, more a product provider where we try to offer you access, and we leave it to investors to make up their mind whether they think, where the gold price is going. Having said that, I myself have worked for a long time in gold, for 10 years plus. I dealt with gold ETCs, and I speak a lot to investors about gold, and I think there are still many believers out there who think gold should go higher or will go higher. Just to be clear here, I'm not making any predictions or saying buy gold now because it will go higher. But some of the reasons that are given why they think gold should go higher is what I said at the beginning. On the one hand, the main argument for the last 10, 15 years has been the printing of money in the world from central banks, and that has been going on for about 15 years. They're trying to reduce it now a bit, but it's still at a very high level. The Federal Reserve, the ECB. So if money inflation happens like that, and you have suddenly 5 times the money circulating, not quite, but the balance sheet of those banks increasing 5 times, 6 times, then if gold cannot be inflated because it's a limited amount out there, the rationale is gold has to go up because in dollar terms or in euro terms, because there's so much fiat there, gold is not there. The only way to balance the scales, if gold can go up in supply, then the price of gold has to go up to balance this. So that's one of the key arguments. And the second one, I think, is the geopolitical environment at the moment. Gold is a crisis hedge. And it seems like at the moment, we are potentially going to a recession in the US. Europe already has a big recession. We have geopolitical conflict in Russia, Ukraine, in the Middle East with Palestine and Israel. China, US are not on very good terms. Unfortunately, the world is seeing a lot of conflict at the moment. And in addition to that, the economy seems quite strong in the US, but there are wobbles. And if the interest rates stay high for longer, this might impact the financial markets and the economy. So there are several reasons why you could believe that gold should go higher the next 1-2 years based on this data. Okay, so the next question, what are the available tools and platforms for monitoring and trading ETCs? Does HoneyTF offer its own tools or does it use existing platforms? I'm not 100% sure what is meant with tools and platforms, but when it comes to trading or ETCs, normally there are, as Bogdan showed in his chart, there are several players. For investors, the trading happens via brokers normally, just to kind of give that picture. The exchange offers a venue where the prices are made, where we have professional market makers who give you the price, then you can find the price there of the instrument, of the ETC. So that's where you monitor. If you want to monitor the price of an ETC, where it goes up, down, how much is traded, probably the exchange is the best place to look at because that's where you find the data. And Bogdan, you can correct me if I'm saying something wrong here. And then if you want to trade it, you can go to your broker, whoever you use, and you take the ISIN of the product and you look it up there, and there you can execute, meaning they can buy or sell. And that's where you get the actual price to trade from the market maker, from your broker. And he uses the connection to the exchange to give you that price. And what we do at HoneyTF, we are purely the product provider. So we build the product. We make sure we speak to these market makers who work with the GPW, with the Warsaw Exchange, and make the prices there. For example, Santander, like I said, we speak to Santander. If we see that the price for the ETC on the exchange is maybe too wide, meaning it's buying and selling is a bit too expensive, then we say, hey, Santander, please take a look. We think this is a bit too expensive, too wide. Why is that? Can you explain, and can you please try to make it better in order for investors to trade more efficiently? So we do monitor it. We look at that, and that's the job we do. And it's really hand in hand with the team also at Warsaw Stock Exchange. Okay, so the next, sorry, Bogdan, please.
Sorry. Chciałem tylko potwierdzić, że giełda również kontroluje animatora i pilnuje, żeby te spready i wielkości zleceń były odpowiednie. Jest podpisana umowa. Staramy się, żeby to było, co miesiąc jest wysyłana informacja do animatora na temat tego, jak wypełnia swoje zobowiązania. Sprawdzamy to i reagujemy tak samo jak HNTF.
Thank you, Bogdan. Then the next question, what are the costs associated with this ETC? Are there any fees for purchase, sales, storage, or management? So there are several costs involved when you trade an ETC. The first layer of cost is what the product provider, in this case we at HANETF, charge. The fee for this ETC is 0.25% per year, per annum. So if you stay invested for a whole year, we will charge 0.25% from the invested amount. If you stay invested only half a year, we will only charge you half that. So we look at every day you stay invested and we take a little bit of the 0.25% on a daily basis, so that it's fair. So if you go in and you only stay 10 days invested, we will only charge for 10 days out of the full year. So only a small amount of this 0.25%. So this is an annual fee. This cost includes everything that is product related. So it includes the storage fee of the gold, it includes the production, and then that we can buy the gold and put it in the vault, that we can transport it. Everything related to this part is included. When it comes then to trading for the investor, there are a few different points. So if you trade, private investors have to trade via a broker. The broker will normally charge a commission for a trade. That depends on your broker. Some people might offer commission-free trading. Some will charge you a commission. You will need to look that up. But normally, when you buy a financial instrument, this is how the brokers make money. Then when it comes to the actual trading of the product, as I mentioned before, there's a cost on exchange. When you go for the ETC to be listed and tradable on the Polish stock exchange, we need to work with a market maker. A market maker is a professional financial institution which makes buy and sell markets in this product. So anytime you want to buy or sell, you are able to do that on the exchange. For this service of buying and selling, they need to also make a profit margin somewhere to make this attractive to them. So what they do is there's a small spread, as we call it, between buying and selling. So you can buy for, let's say, 10 zloty per share per unit of ETC, and you sell for a little bit less, 9.90, let's say, so 0.1 zloty less. This is what they make as a margin. So there's a small spread involved there, which if you want to invest and later sell again, you need to take into account. And as I mentioned before, there's potentially also a FX change between Polish zloty. You invest in Polish zloty and gold is traded in US dollar. That is the case, it doesn't matter when I invest in the UK, I have the risk from GBP, from pound sterling to dollar. If you invest in euro, it's euro to dollar. So this is something you cannot change unless you are a dollar investor. So in this case, there's not a risk or cost. It can go up or down in your favor or against you. You should just be aware that there's an FX component, but this is not a direct cost. This is just a part of the trading. So, in summary, the cost of the ETC, the TER, total expense ratio, 0.25% per year. Commission from your broker, this you need to check that with your broker. And then the trading, the spread, the bid-ask spread on the exchange is the third component. These are I would say, the three key components that you should be aware of. Okay, and then I think a final fourth question. Does HANETF offer any support or assistance to investors in understanding and monitoring this gold ETC? Yes, so we do offer a number of, let's say, supporting documents and information. If you go to our webpage, hanetf.com, so www.hanetf.com, you will find a few brochures and what we call white papers, which explain, they give some background about the gold market. We have a presentation which shows you some of the charts I showed you before. Why do people invest in gold? Safe haven. Gold goes up when stocks go down on average. What is the risk return profile of gold? It gives you a couple of historical statistics so you can see how the gold market works. We give you information about the recycled gold aspect, which I mentioned, why it's beneficial, where it comes from, and so on. We do occasionally webinars, so you can go in the webinar section of HoneyTF and you will find educational webinars with our partners where we talk about the gold market, where we present the Royal Mint so you can understand a bit more who they are. We explain the importance of custody, so where do you keep the gold, in which safe, and why this is important. We have general educational webinars about ETCs, how ETCs work, why they are useful, what you should pay attention to, like the cost, which I mentioned, for example. We have FAQs, so frequently asked questions, which you can read and look up. So yes, we do have a range of documents that hopefully give you some support to make your decisions. Okay, we have one more question, I see. So the biggest international ETF and ETC providers often avoid smaller markets and exchanges. What led HoneyTF to list RMAU in Poland? So for this first part, and then there's a second question. After 2 months, do you see it as a success? Was it worth the effort? Maybe answering the last one, yes. I think we think it was. I personally think it was a great success. And my boss, our CEO, also, and our head of sales, they agree. I just discussed it with them actually last week, and the volumes in the first 2 months have been very good. I think for a new product launch in a new market where it's first time we come there. Well, I don't speak Polish. Nobody speaks Polish in our team. That's something we need to change maybe in the future. But for now, we have to do it in English. So for that, I think the RMAU has already traded about $1 million of trading volume in the first 2 months on the Polish stock exchange. Some days were really fantastic. We had 400,000 or 500,000 zloty traded in a single day, 2, 3, 4 times already. So it shows that there's clear interest. Every time we do a webinar like this, people listen, they ask questions, they interact with us, and we see people then trade on exchange. So this is actually great. And the reason we came to Poland was because Poland is a big market as a population. It's the maybe most developed, former Eastern European market. People are financially getting more and more, better educated. They know what they want. They understand what they're doing. They understand the markets. It's still a process to learn and go along. Don't get me wrong. Every market is the same. Also, Germany, which I normally cover as a market, investors there are also still learning, still growing, and we see the same journey in Poland, like in other markets, that is growing. There's more and more interest from private investors. And more choice. So we want to offer more choice, more instruments, and we think if we do that now with the ETC and later with more ETFs, maybe that this will lead to a passive evolution, that people will use these instruments more and more, and hopefully it makes investments more efficient in the long term.
Chciałem jeszcze od strony giełdy powiedzieć, że jesteśmy bardzo zadowoleni z tego pierwszego okresu. Obroty, tak jak Andrzej podkreślił, na kilku sesjach sięgały 500 000 złotych. Uważam, że inwestorzy, rolą giełdy jest to, żeby stworzyć rynek, żeby stworzyć możliwości inwestowania dla inwestorów, dla zainteresowanych. Próbujemy to robić. Mam nadzieję, że w niedługim czasie wprowadzimy kolejne produkty typu ETN i ETC, również ETF-y. Także dziękujemy bardzo jeszcze raz Han ETF, że zdecydował się na notowanie u nas swojego pierwszego produktu. Zapraszamy do dalszej współpracy i dziękuję Państwu za uwagę.